Hi, I'm Mark Cork from BoatUS Magazine and welcome to the workshop. Today I'm going to show you how to make perfect electrical connections. We don't need a lot of tools. I've got a pair of combination strippers, crimpers here. These are the cheap kind. If you're going to do much more than a few joints here and there, it's a good idea to invest in a pair of ratcheting crimpers. Makes a better joint and actually it's easier to use. Got a pair of wire cutters in case I need to cut some wire. I've got a little blowtorch here and I'll show you how we use that in a second. And then obviously we've got the cable itself. So I've got the cable here. This is a 16 gauge cable. It's worth mentioning that cable, as the number gets larger, the cable gets smaller. So 0 gauge cable is so big, and it's typically for the big fat connections that you see to your battery. This is 16 gauge, obviously it's a lot smaller. And then when you go up to 24 gauge, that would be the sort of cable that you would see attached to an LED light or something that's not drawing much current. Anyway, so as I said, we're using 16 gauge. Also here you'll notice that I've got a selection of connectors. You'll see here they've got yellow, blue and red, and that refers to the size of crimp that you'll need. Yellow is the largest, blue and then red. So let's go right ahead and show you how to make the joint. Now, I've already stripped back the cables on the end there, just to save a little bit of time. This is the connector that we're going to be using. As I said, this is a 16 gauge connector. Connector actually is inside the plastic, and there's a little dimple there, and that's where the conductor or the metal part of the cable comes up to. So ideally you want to strip back enough so that when that goes in, it comes up halfway through the connector, and then the shoulder of the insulation here comes up on the outside, so there's no metal part showing. So first thing I'm going to do is to take the crimper, and you'll see there's blue there, so I put that in the center one there, and just go halfway first of all, and you put that in and we squeeze until it will go no further, and then it will release, and you'll see that has already formed a nice joint on that end. So we just turn it around and put in the other cable. Now you'll notice that I'm using the red and black. Normally we'd never join these two cables together. The only reason I'm doing it is just to show you how we would do this. So this is just for illustrative purposes only. We crimp that together until it won't go anymore, comes apart, and I've got a nice joint there. Next thing we do is take the little blowtorch that we mentioned earlier. Now this is a heat shrink connector. Some of the connectors that you'll see or you'll get will not have heat shrink built in. They'll just have a regular kind of straight connector, and you'll need to cover it with a piece of heat shrink. This you cut to length with a pair of pliers, you slip it over the cable. Obviously you slip it over the cable before you make the connection, slide it over, and then you heat it with this little blowtorch, and it will shrink and it will give you a nice watertight, perfectly good connection. So I'm just going to go ahead now and just heat this up gently. You don't want to overheat this and actually set something on fire, so I'm keeping it moving. And little by little that will shrink around the cable, and you'll see the colour of the cable comes through the insulation, and that's it there. And you just let it cool down for a minute, and there we are, we've got a perfect joint there. So I hope you've learned something here today. For more, you can go to boatus.com/magazine or check out our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.